Alright, everybody, welcome back to Console or Cinema, where I compare a movie and a video game of the same name or same properties. And this week, I'm going to be talking about Indiana Jones. That's right, all this talk about a fifth movie is getting me freaking stoked. So, which game should I play? I think I'm going to play a PC game. Yeah, everybody seems to love those, and they seem to be a lot better than the NES games, at least. So, I'm going to play The Fate of Atlantis, and I'm going to compare it to the storytelling of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Because, I want to. For the three people out there that haven't watched Raiders of the Lost Ark, and for the rest of us that don't mind watching it for the 30th time, let's get this party started. Oh yeah! Raiders, as most fans call it, was released June 12, 1981. It was directed by Steven Spielberg and is the start of what is very often regarded as the best trilogy of all time. It was both a hit with critics and fans. It brought in $389.9 million from its box office sales, and had little kids everywhere exploring their hometowns wearing the iconic Indy hat and a whip. In my case, it was a cowboy hat and a rubber snake, but it was good enough. In just the first 15 minutes of this movie, it is all too easy to see why it had such a huge effect on everybody that watched it. Raiders has one of, if not the best intro to a movie I've ever seen. Raiders starts in a jungle in the year 1936, and the first thing you see is Indy whip a gun out of some guy's hand, followed by traversing traps in an ancient temple to find one real creepy golden idol. Look at those eyes. It's staring into my soul. Anyway, that is soon followed by a betrayal and close calls, the most iconic rock scene in movie history, and a chase scene with a dangerous group of tribesmen. For real, I'm having a hard time thinking of another movie that gives the viewer such a clear-cut and entertaining introduction to the universe you're about to step into. I must admit though, every time I see this intro, I can't help but think of the UHF version of it, and it just freaking cracks me up every damn time. After that happens, we see Indy teaching a class, and then one of his friends shows up and tells him, hey, Army Intelligence wants to talk to you. Which is a pretty cool way to show us a little bit of Indy's character and really just how important he is in the Indiana Jones universe. I mean, the movie's made after him. Why the wouldn't he be, right? This is when Army Intelligence informs Indy that the Nazis are looking for something in the city of Tanis, one of the last known resting places of the Ark of the Covenant. And they ask Indy to help get the Ark before the Nazis do. Because the Nazis. This leads Indy to Nepal to talk to Marion, who sounds like an old lover from 10 years ago. 10 years? 10 years? That seems like a lot of time, right? I mean, come on, were these two the only two in the human race that had a meaningful middle school relationship? I mean, at most, she's got to be like 25, right? Whatever, though. Whatever. This isn't important. Back to it. Marion, of course, has a very important piece that'll show the exact place where the Ark is buried. But it's not just as simple as going in and getting it. Some damn Nazis show up and try to get the piece for themselves, but Indy and Marion show them what's what. And this one piece gets the whole thing rolling, from gunfights, snake pits, fistfights around airplanes, to people trying to poison Indy with dates. This movie is action-packed to the freaking gills. The camera work is incredible, always shot in a way that conveys the situation. When things get creepy, the shots are in close, giving the viewer a claustrophobic feel. And when taking in the splendors of a new room or discovery, we get a beautiful wide shot, so the audience gets a scale of its wonder. Of course, another piece to a great movie is not messing it up and throwing the audience right out of the film. And the whole time I'm watching this, I've never felt like I wasn't completely engaged during the hour and 55-minute runtime. And that's even after I've watched this. Man, who knows how many times I've watched this. Last thing I'm going to say about Raiders is that the music is done very well by John Williams. For being a 38-year-old movie, there aren't any music tracks that date it. Nothing stands out like in other lesser-made movies that made me say, wow, I am happy they do not do that anymore. I could talk about all the tiny nuances that make Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark one of the films that many people consider to be the best of all time. But I've got a game to play. So, as far as rating Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark, it earns a 10 out of 10. And if you haven't watched every single Indiana Jones movie, and I am also including Crystal Skull for all of you people that are haters, you need to watch all of them. Because this is one of the best action franchises of all time. And if you haven't watched them, you're seriously missing out. So, since this is one of the best action franchises of all time, it has to lend itself to being a video game, right? Well, the games I've played so far really haven't been all that great. So, I'm really hoping that a point-and-click adventure is exactly the format an Indiana Jones game needs to be in. As I said before, I picked Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis to try out. It was released for the PC in 1992 and developed by LucasArts. So, one crazy thing that I didn't know before I did the research on this after I played it is that there's also a Wii version of Fate of Atlantis on Indiana Jones and the Staff of Kings. All you have to do is hold down the Z button in the main menu and enter A, up, up, B, down, down, left, right, left, B, and then you can play the whole game. And for real, that's gotta be like the best cheat code ever, right? I mean, if you know a better one, I want to hear you shout out at the comments because for real, that's awesome. Fate of Atlantis is a point-and-click title. These kinds of games aren't everyone's favorite, but ever since I played the Neverhood when it came packaged in with my mom's new computer when I was still in grade school, I can't get enough of point-and-click. And the way Indiana Jones: The Fate of Atlantis starts is very point-and-click. There's a lot of physical comedy with Indy falling through floors, bookshelves falling on top of him, and even falling down a coal chute. Not very Indiana Jones-esque, but it's still pretty funny. And Indy is apparently looking for some sort of statue. As soon as you find it, he brings it back to a German guy that is just chilling in Indy's office. But come on, we all know he's the bad guy. And Indy goes all sorts of crazy on him. And check out this fight! That is some amazing animation for the time. Well, after the fight, you find out Mr. Smith is Klaus Kuhner. I said that totally wrong, but whatever. He's a Nazi spy, and he dropped a magazine with an article about Indy and Sophia Hapgood. So, Marcus and Indy think they should go warn Sophia before Kerner gets to her. Next thing you know, you're standing in front of some theater that Sophia is inside talking for some reason. I guess people were bored at this time. I don't know why. So, Indy needs to get in and warn Sophia that Kerner is on his way. Eventually, Indy makes it in. But since this is a point-and-click adventure, it's not just as simple as walking up to her. Nope, you gotta first sweet talk a guy into letting you in the back door. P.S. Don't try to fight him. Indiana just gets wrecked if you try to fight him. Or I really suck. It's the first time I'm playing it, okay? Be nice. Once inside, you have to get past an old guy. You can distract him by going back outside and getting him a newspaper. Then he'll just leave you there by yourself. After which, you have to figure out the pattern of levers to make a ghost sheet glide across the stage and shut her up. Then she'll finally talk to Indy. While they're talking, you find out that the Nazis are looking for a power source from Atlantis. Thus begins Indy's and Sophia's crazy quest for Atlantis to stop the Nazis from progressing with their plans. In Indiana Jones style, you start making your way around the world looking for clues and artifacts. Indy and Sophia travel to places like Iceland, the Azores, Barnett College, Algiers, Monte Carlo, a freaking U-boat, and then finally, Atlantis. Along the way, though, you need to complete more puzzles, like the one you had to do to talk to Sophia. And they range from trying to find a specific person in a crowd, to making Sophia talk to people to get information, finding a rare artifact to trade for another, or, more information, or talking Sophia into having knives thrown at her, to tricking a snake off of a tree so Indiana can get across a cavern. The way you can accomplish all of this is by using the interface. There is a box at the bottom of the screen with 9 options. They are give, open, close, pick up, talk to, look at, push, use, and pull. Luckily, you can use the keyboard to act as hotkeys to change what you're doing. The hotkey for pickup is P, to open is O, and so on.
I don't think
that'll
work.
I don't have the manual, so I have no clue what the keys are for pull and push. But the rest are easy to find out. And the game is picky as hell that you use the right option. For example, if you walk up to a door and click it again, Indy will just say something like, "The door is closed." You have to click open and then click on the door to make him open it. So when I got stuck, and I got stuck a lot, I just had to try clicking on everything I could with every option until I figured out what to do. It sounds annoying, I know, but the farther I make it into the game, the easier it is for me to spot those objects and, which option to use on said objects. So, the game is teaching me as I'm playing, and that is always a good thing. One of the only things that I did look up, though, was how to save. You need to hit the F1 or the F5 button depending on your computer. And after that, it was easy to stop and come back right where you left off. Of course, the only other control you need is your mouse to control the cursor, which is used to find things hidden in plain sight. Luckily, as long as you drag the cursor over something, it will let you know if it's an item that you can interact with. Indy might just look at it or say something like, "I've already read these books." But it's nice that the game doesn't just leave you hanging out there with absolutely no clues as to what could be helpful.
It feels like a portable generator.
I gotta say though, even with this amount of help, some puzzles are just figure it out. You want a hint? Well, F you, figure it out. For example, one of the craziest puzzles, I had to use chewed gum on a coal chute so Indy could climb into it. And then I needed to use mayo to grease up a totem pole so Indy could push it under a hole in the roof. That's insanity! Who the hell looks at a situation like this and thinks to... Oh, man, that's steep. What am I gonna do? I got it! Alright, now this will be all sorts of easy. Oh, what's this heavy box doing in my way? Whew, that super heavy. How do I fix... Oh, yeah. Here we go. That should do the trick. Later in the game, Indy finds Plato's notes, because Plato knew everything about Atlantis for some freaking reason, but the way things are spelled out in it are vague and so confusing, which is aggravating as hell, because there are several puzzles involving 3 stones. They're the Sunstone, Moonstone, and Worldstone. They all have 4 images on them, and you can rotate them to line them up in different patterns to unlock doors, open hidden paths, or other things like that. As far as I could tell, though, it's just a random pattern that I had to guess, and no one tells you jack as to what the pattern is. All anyone ever says is, you should look at the Plato's notes. But the damn notes don't tell you anything as to how to solve the handful of puzzles that are totally different. Luckily though, I was able to guess on all of them but one. The very last time Indy uses the stones, I couldn't find the answer for the life of me. I literally tried every single position on those damn stones, and still nothing happened. I had to go into full detective mode to figure this one out. Okay.
Still nothing.
Crap. Alright. We'll try this one.
Nothing again. What's well-aligned mean, I wonder?
Whoa, like an eclipse, right? Okay, let's try that one.
That didn't do anything.
Son of a bitch! Fine, Indiana Jones. Fine. I quit. I'm just going to look it up on the internet. Here we go. Let's see how you feel about this. Last puzzle in Fate of Atlantis. Oh no. Oh my gosh. Apparently every playthrough is totally different. According to this, none of the answers I could find online will be the answer that I need to finish the damn game. Oh, you son of a bitch. Oh my gosh. You son of a bitch. Oh, I can't figure this out. Stupid wall. Nothing on here's been helping at all. This is all freaking worthless. All of it. Nothing helps. What do I do? Stupid freaking clues. All these damn clues. All these clues. Nothing works. Nothing is helping. Why? What? Still don't even know what the hell this is. Oh, I'm losing my mind. Well, I never tried them at angles. I guess I'll try that. You know what? Not a single clue thus far has had the stones at an angle. But it's worth a shot. Let's give it a shot. Yes! Son of a bitch, LucasArts!
think I turned it
None of
on.
them were like that before this. That is a dick move. Shh, ending.
You see, Colonel? I told you.
Speaking of the end, there are two different endings that I know of. I got the one where Sophia is taken over by Nurab Sal, a god to the Atlantean people, and she takes the full force of this ancient machine and gets turned into a weird green monster thing. And the whole of Atlantis starts to fall apart around them. Indy is the only one to escape.
Like tall tales even to me.
All around though, this is a hell of a game. It's been a good minute since I've played a
There's some
point-and-click
evidence this
adventure,
time.
and the build quality of Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis was surprisingly good. For starters, the
Why
animation
didn't
is
you listen to me,
beautiful.
Sophia?
The look of this game really took me by surprise. All of the movement was smooth and fun to look at. There was a lot of colors and fun designs for
I hope
all
this
of the
catches
environments, making it super fun to explore. The controls are functional, and for the most part, did what I expected them to do. As far as the story goes, I loved it. It was fun, lighthearted, but filled with enough action to give you a lot to do. And the puzzles are fun and challenging. Most of the
I know what you
time.
mean.
There were a handful of times when I just had to do trial and error, when I feel like there should have been more hints around to tell you, how to actually solve the puzzle. And the crazy puzzles where you had to use mayo on statues, I figured them out, but holy crap, it took a long time. Alright, Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. That's gotta be one of the best Indiana Jones games I've ever played. So, as far as rating it goes, I'm gonna give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. And the reasoning for that is because some of the puzzles are pure luck. I had no clue what I was doing, and I totally solved a couple of them. And some of the clues that they're giving are worthless. Like, some of them don't help you at all. I don't know why they're even in there at that point. And there are a couple of voice actors in this game that are the worst I've heard in a while. On the other side of that, though, the gameplay is really fun, and the rest of the voice actors are good. Plus, there's a lot of stuff in this game that made the movies fun. And that's always a fantastic thing when the game kind of matches the movies that it's based off of in levels of fun, action, and, intrigue. Because throughout this entire game, I didn't want to stop playing. I wanted to sit here, bunker down, and beat it in one sitting. So, if you like Indiana Jones, and you like video games, I would say Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis is a must. Round 2! That's not how you do it. That's a lot of buttons. It's more like open, click. Thank you again so much for coming by and watching another one of my sad episodes. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments, and if you're playing through Fate of Atlantis for yourself, the answer to the last puzzle is actually in the lava room on the walls. So, if you're playing it, you'll know what that means. And another shameless plug for myself, I actually started doing a podcast with a friend, Jared Barner, and it is called Artless Retrospect. I'll leave a link for it down below, and if you guys want to hear me and Jared just talking about some games and movies and having a good time, go ahead and check that out. I'd really appreciate it. And I will see you guys later.